Hello, welcome to the Roseville Parks and Recreation Adult Softball Online Managers Meeting. This 15-minute video is designed to provide you with the necessary league information for the fall 2019 season to ensure that your team gets the most out of the season here in Roseville. First, we want to thank you for choosing to play your fall softball here in the city of Roseville. We understand that you have many options throughout the metro area, and we appreciate that you have chosen to play with us. The goal of our leagues is to provide a safe, well-organized, sportsmanly, fun, and fair atmosphere to participants of all backgrounds and skill level. All policies and procedures here in this league are made with that goal in mind. First off, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ryan Harper, and I am the Recreation Supervisor in charge of softball here at Roseville. I can be reached by either email or phone with any questions or concerns that you may have. My primary method of communication with managers will be by email. If you do not use email, please let me know as soon as possible so that I know that I need to contact you by phone or other means if changes are made. The league website is cityofroseville.com/softball. Your softball schedules will be linked on that site or can be visited directly at teamsideline.com/RPR. League schedules will be posted 1 week prior to your specific division start date. Any schedule changes that are made will be posted on the league page. Additionally, if any changes are made, managers will be emailed to inform you of that change. In addition, as you can see, the league pages do indicate updated standings as a result for each game. We do encourage managers to check back often and let us know if there's any score entered incorrectly so we can make sure that we keep that as accurate tabs in the league. Fall season begins Sunday, August 11th, and each subsequent day. Each league will also have a playoff for the top 8 teams. Brackets will be posted on the league page following the final game of the season.
Rosters. Managers will be emailed a blank roster form, but can also find it on the league schedule page or on our softball league page. All teams are required to provide a roster prior to their first game. Rosters must include all players that you intend on using on your team at any point during the season. Substitute players will be allowed during the regular season, but only rostered players may be used in playoffs. When selecting substitutions, please consider the skill level of your league and not bring in quote-unquote ringer players who may make the balance of the league unfair. Teams who do not submit a roster will in fact forfeit a game if they are protested against.
Managers will be emailed a blank roster form, but can also be found on the league schedule page or on our softball league page. All teams are required to provide a roster prior to their first game. Rosters must include players that you intend to use on your team at any point during the season. Substitute players will be allowed to play during the regular season, but only rostered players may be used in the playoffs. When selecting substitutes, please consider the skill level of your league and not bring in quote-unquote ringer players who may make the balance of the league unfair. Teams who do not submit a roster will in fact forfeit a game if they are protested against. If games are in question, please contact our weather website that can be found on the league page or schedule page, or call the weather hotline by 4:30 p.m. Play or no play decisions will be based on the status of the fields as of 4:15 p.m., not based upon any forecasted conditions or projections. There have been several situations in the past in which forecasts have been wrong, in which 100% rain was projected, but skies indeed cleared and games were able to be played. If conditions prior to 4:30 dictate that fields will be unplayable, we will make every effort to update the weather website as early as possible to let you know if games will be canceled. Should conditions change after 4:30, the umpires on site will make the final play or no play decision based on the conditions of their field. In the event of an after-hour cancellation, we will attempt to update the weather hotline, but cannot do so until we receive confirmation that all fields have been canceled for the night. Should rain occur, up to 2 weeks of rainouts will be rescheduled. Please remember that game time is listed on your schedule, and teams should be prepared and ready to play at that time. A 10-minute grace period will be allowed for the 6 p.m. game, but that time does mean that 10 minutes will be removed from your game time. Teams should make all efforts to be ready to play at 6 p.m. A 5-minute grace period will also be allowed for all game times, but remember, 5 minutes will be deducted from your total playing time. Once a team has 8 players present, they must begin and cannot wait for the 9th or 10th players to arrive. Games will be 7 innings long, with no new innings set to begin 55 minutes from the scheduled start time. Please remember, if you must forfeit your game, please contact your opponent as well as our office by phone as soon as possible. Nobody likes to show up for a game and not have the other team play. However, we do encourage teams to make every effort to field a team for each game, so teams can continue to receive the same number of games. Game balls for the entire season will be distributed at your first game. Managers will be given a package of game balls containing 1 game ball per home game. Managers must bring a game ball for each of their home games. If a home team fails to provide a new game ball, they will begin that game behind 3-0. Visiting teams should also be prepared to provide 1 used ball in the event the primary game ball is hit out of play. For playoff games, umpires will have game balls ready at the field. Please remember, in accordance with statewide USSSA standards, all non-wood bats must have the new USSSA stamp on them. The old text USSSA logo will not be accepted. Only a new stamp that is permanently stamped on the bat will be accepted. Bats must also be unaltered and comply with the USSSA Rule Number 2. Umpires will be instructed to check all bats prior to the first game of the season. Primary focus of all Roseville leagues will be fun. Teams are expected to utilize good sportsmanship at all times toward their opponents, the umpire, and your own teammates. As managers, please prevent your team from getting into trash talking with the other team or arguing with the umpire. Remember, you're a leader out there. Please remember that the focus of these games should be on the fun and recreation aspects of the game. All umpires officiating in the city of Roseville are expected to be USSSA certified. Teams may reasonably expect umpires to be on time, behave professionally, hustle, and briefly discuss a call with a manager if he or she approaches in a respectful manner after time has been granted. It is unreasonable of teams to expect umpires to get every call correct, to know every single rule of the large USSSA rulebook inside and out, to tolerate frequent complaints or verbal abuse, to tolerate comments about the umpire's integrity or that are personal in nature, such as "are they paying you today?" or "you're terrible." It is unreasonable to expect an umpire to tolerate complaints about balls and strikes. Overall, judgment calls are not open to dispute. Teams must learn to live with the fact that umpires will make calls that they will not agree with and must move on with the game. When dealing with umpires, please keep the following items in mind. First, only team managers or the player involved may discuss a call with an umpire and only after time has been granted by the umpire. Discussions must be respectful. No shouting or gesturing or profanity will be tolerated. After the umpire has given his or her explanation, the manager must return to his position or dugout immediately. Please note, rule interpretations may be formally protested in accordance with the Roseville Parks and Recreation rules as found in the rulebook, but judgment calls are indeed final and not open for protest. The following actions will result in a warning or immediate ejection if observed by an umpire. please prevent players on your team from engaging in any of the following actions: continuous complaints about judgment calls, any player besides the manager leaving their position to argue a call, shouting at an umpire, use of profanity, use of personal statements towards an umpire, threats or taunting any other player, spectator, or umpire, or continuing a behavior after receiving a warning. Please remind your teams to clean out your dugout and dugout areas before you leave for the night. Please ensure that no bottles or other items are left behind in your dugouts. Additionally, please be respectful of the neighbors and pedestrians who walk through the parks. Make sure that team members are not using profanity or anything else that may result in residents feeling uncomfortable. Finally, please note that the city ordinance does prohibit the use of alcohol and tobacco in Roseville parks. Although there have been multiple Roseville revisions to the USSSA rulebook, here are a few I would like to highlight. First, home run limits. The men's C division has a maximum of 4 home runs and plays with the +1 rule. Please note, only the C division will use this +1 rule. Men's D division has 2 home runs. Co-Rec C has 2 home runs. Co-Rec D allows no home runs, with the exception of the short field at Central Park Lexington Northwest. Teams are allowed 1 home run. Please note, any home run beyond the limit will be only 1 out, which differs from the USSSA rule. All leagues will use a 3-ball, 2-strike count with no courtesy foul. This means that if a player has 1 strike against them and hits a foul ball, they will be out. Players are not permitted to dig into the batter's box by kicking dirt out of the way as they come into the box. However, players may be allowed to kick dirt around to even out the spots that they are batting in, essentially filling holes that are made but not digging into the batter's box. No metal spikes will be permitted in our leagues. Courtesy runner will be limited to 1 courtesy runner per inning. The courtesy runner will be the last person out. Double play situations. In an effort to prevent injury, Roseville has clarified the double play rule. All runners must either slide legally or attempt to get out of the way of the fielder turning to complete the double play. For a slide to be legal, players must remain on the ground and slide directly toward the base. The image that is being shown on the slide would be considered legal in Major League Baseball, but considered illegal in our league because the runner is not going directly toward the base and his right leg elevated and not on the ground. This would be ruled an out for both the runner sliding and the runner at first base, granting the double play regardless of where the shortstop's throw ended up. Additionally, we have implemented a prohibition on hitting the ball back towards the pitcher intentionally in an effort to intimidate the pitcher. This can also be referred to as lighting up or buzzing the pitcher. If an umpire is confident that a team is intentionally hitting the ball at the pitcher, they are instructed to warn and then eject the offender. This is a dangerous situation that can lead to severe injury and even death. Please do not allow members of your team to intentionally hit the ball back up the middle in an effort to intimidate the pitcher. Champions. At the conclusion of the season, each regular season and playoff champion will receive championship t-shirts and their choice of a trophy or a restaurant gift card. I will be contacting each manager who is entitled to prizes following the conclusion of the season to obtain their sizes and determine which award they would like. In conclusion, please remember that we want this league to be well organized, safe, and with an emphasis on sportsmanship. Managers, I ask you to please be leaders on this and encourage your teams to follow suit. Keep these games in perspective. Yes, competition is important, but we want all participants to feel safe and have fun above all else. Please do not hesitate to contact me with any questions or concerns throughout the entirety of the season. Finally, I thank you once again for choosing Roseville for your fall softball league. I wish everyone a safe and fun season. Best of luck, and I hope to see many of you out there at the fields. Thank you.